Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy as Jet fans to welcome in the newest head coach of the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. Robert, it's Craig Carton, Evan Roberts right here in New York City on the Fan. Congratulations and welcome, and thank you for joining us for a few minutes today.
No, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, so listen, a couple things right out of the gate. We got to talk about this slogan of all gas, no brakes, because a couple of our listeners sent us video of Coach LaFleur in Green Bay running up and down the sidelines yelling, all gas, no brakes. Are we taking ownership of that? Did he give us permission? Do we need a new slogan? What are we doing with that?
No, we're good, man. He's, I'm going to stay claim to that one first.
That's interesting. Okay.
He stole it from you.
I'm not going to say that.
No, that's you know what? We've implied that, and that's fine. I like that. I feel better now.
All right, number one. Number two, we're going to get some of this easy stuff out of the way. Have the New York Jets considered hiring a sideline guy whose only job is holding you back?
It's going to be the strength crew's got that one.
Got it. So that is not an extra hire. That's not part of the contract. None of that. They're already taken care of. Got it. Okay.
No, we're good.
Now, a couple of serious things. When you left the Jet facility, whatever it was, a week or so ago, and got in your car, and we were told that you were driving down to Philly to meet with the Eagles, I walk Jet fans through that drive and what you were processing, having had the Zoom call and then met face-to-face with Christopher Johnson and Joe Douglas and Jaime and the other members of the Jet executive team, not having an offer yet in your pocket and going to meet another prospective suitor. What went through your head on that drive?
You know, the meetings went so well. They really did. I don't know if I'll speak for them, but my appreciation for them and my desire to be here only grew stronger. But at the same time, I couldn't help but appreciate the fact, knowing that it went so well, that they still wanted to go through their process. They still wanted to finish off and make sure they were doing things the right way. They still wanted to go through and collaborate and communicate at which they planned from the beginning. There was no emotional decisions made. They didn't jump the gun. They wanted to go through their process, which spoke volumes to me, with the fact that emotional decisions won't be made. Everything is a story. And so going through that process on the ride home, it was met with a great amount of appreciation, because I knew at the end of the day, if they called back, they did so because they went through their process, they collaborated like they had been telling me they wanted to do for the last 2 weeks, and they communicated about it. And that only told me more about how great, and it gave me more conviction about what I already knew, and that's that this organization's moving in the right direction. They really want to do things right, and it's going to get done right.
Coach, for a lot of Jet fans, myself included, and we want to change when I say this, we always expect the worst. So when you are the hot coaching candidate and you're meeting with the New York Jets, you're meeting with a lot of teams, talking to a lot of teams, I wasn't the only one that said he's not going to pick us, because we're not used to that. We're not used to getting things that we want. Why? What happened that made this job and made you say yes to us? Because that's something we're not used to being happy. And you may start to get used to that over the next few weeks and months as you meet Jet fans. But what made this the job you wanted above anyone else?
You know, I alluded to it earlier. In my heart, I believe that people are what make things work. Having humility, having the heart to do what's right for the organization, and having the humility to listen and gather information to do what's right. And so when you talk to Christopher Johnson and you talk to Jaime and you talk to Joe and you just watch them work together, the people are right. The people in this organization have the right mindset, and it's something that I want to be a part of. There's no doubt in my mind them inviting me into this circle is more a blessing on me than it is the other way around, because those three men have done nothing but live up to everything they've been talking about since we met on Zoom. And And like I said, what made me choose this is the people, and because it always comes down to people, and that's why organizations have success.
So that's more important than looking at a roster and breaking it down and saying, all right, I've got this, I've got that, I don't have this, I don't have that, we've got picks, we've got cap room. Did that play a significant role in thinking about this team versus other teams?
It's obviously there's some of that, right? But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's the people that make things work, and it's the name on the front of the jersey and what we're trying to make that thing represent. And there's no doubt with the players that are here and the people that are in place from a leadership standpoint, the name on the front of the jersey is at the forefront of their mind, and helping these young men get to where they want to be professionally is everything. And so, you could say that's part of the equation, but it's definitely a small part of the equation.
Talking to Robert Saleh, the new head coach of the New York Jets. Listen, I don't care how good any head coach is. You cannot win at the professional level in any sport without talent. Talent is everything. Talent's the great equalizer. Talent is the way to win championships. And then once you have the talent, okay, coaching, I think, certainly comes into play. Who gets the most out of that talent? You have an embattled quarterback. You have a fan base that quite openly is hoping that the New York Jets acquire Deshaun Watson. You have seen what it's like, you having the young hotshot in Jimmy Garoppolo, although you're defensive coordinator, and what happens when the hotshot doesn't play well or gets hurt. I know you're not going to tell us whether you want Deshaun Watson or not, but as you've handicapped the New York Jet quarterback position, walk Jet fans through where you think it needs the most improvement. Is it talent? Is it reading a defense? Is it the talent around him? Is it play calling? Where do we fail at the quarterback position?
I can't speak for the past and for the things that have happened to Sam over the first 3 years, but what I can tell you is that bringing the Shanahan system, Mike LaFleur bringing that system here is the ultimate quarterback-friendly system in terms of maximizing the talent that each player has. And so for Sam, he's still a talented young man. There's a reason why he was the third pick in the draft. His arm talent, his fearlessness in the pocket, his ability to process and make quick decisions, his mobility. It pops off the tape. It popped off the tape earlier this year when we game planned against the Jets, and I think it was week 2. So when you look at all those different pieces, one, bringing in schemes offensively and defensively that are so clearly able to identify a skill set for players to fit in, and so they can maximize their talent. And then 2, obviously matching those players to those roles. And so there's a lot of things that have to take place between now and the first practice, but we have a tremendous amount of confidence in being able to match up the talent with the scheme to maximize what there is. And then from there, it's just a matter of discussing things with Joe and his staff and making the best decisions for the organization.
So I'm going to make an assumption. During the interview process, Sam Darnold's name has to come up, right? When you have your lengthy conversations with the Jets, is that a fair comment for me to make?
That's fair, yeah.
So when his name comes up, based on what you have seen on tape and the limited amount you've seen with your own eyes in person, do you believe that Sam Darnold has the raw ability to successfully play under that Shanahan system that you're bringing here with Coach LaFleur?
It's for sure, right? Like we just talked about a second ago, his arm talent, his accuracy, his ability to throw on the move, his fearlessness in the pocket, everything about him screams third overall pick. And so, sometimes messaging just needs to be different. Sometimes a different viewpoint has to be different. Sometimes, the way they receive things have to be different. And so, Sam is an extremely talented young man, and there's a reason why he was the third pick in the draft. And it just doesn't. Bad things just don't happen overnight, and so, or you just don't change overnight. He's still 23 years old. He's got a lot of juice in the tank, and so we're excited to get through the process and start talking about it.
You've talked to, I think you said this, you've talked to all the players already on this roster?
We shot out a note, an individual note to each one, and invited them out to the office to sit down so I can have some FaceTime.
When you talk to Sam, because I'm sure you will, Sam may ask you bluntly, so am I going to be on this team next year? What would you say to him when he asks that question?
You know what? It's Sam, as long as Sam is here, he is going to get everything we have. He's going to get all of us, and I'll never speculate whether or not he's on the team or off the team, because my job is to coach the men that are on this team and to do the best I can to help them get to where they want to go. And so speculating and trying to answer those questions would be impossible. But what I will tell you is that as long as Sam is here, he's going to get all of us. And that's the best I can give you.
One of the things that I know as a Jet fan, I wanted to do my research on all the candidates to find out, if this guy's my head coach, what do I learn about him? And there was a speech you made that really jumped out at me where you talked about how, as a coach, when you assemble a staff, you got to kind of know your weaknesses and bring in people to kind of help you and fill out a coaching staff. As you analyze yourself and get ready to be a head coach in the National Football League, what would you identify as your biggest weakness as you get ready for this opportunity?
There's everyone's got little weaknesses here and there. Obviously, you could say, well, I'm a first-time head coach, and so you see guys like Greg Knapp, who is that we hired as part of the experience part of it. There's Jeff Ulbrich, who's played in this league, and he's here to, understanding our system to relieve some of the pressure from a defensive standpoint. Having Joe, who's been experienced, and surrounding yourself with different people to help you along with that. And there's still hires to be made, and there's still things to get done with regards to coaching staff and filling those voids that I may or may not be able to accomplish for people. But I'm really excited about where the staff is and the way it's complementing one another and the way they're complementing each other with the different personalities and knowledge and different skill sets that they may or may not have. So things are moving along good, and excited to keep going.
A few more moments here with the new head coach of the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. Robert, there's a story that's been told about your connection to New York, and just put football aside for a moment. I don't want to exaggerate the story. I want to say it the way I read it and heard about it. Maybe you can just elaborate a little bit. That during the 9/11 attacks, I guess your brother was working down in the Trade Center, and a period of maybe 7, 8, 9 hours went by when, as a family, you weren't sure if he had made it. And that was a life-changing moment for you, which led you ultimately to pursue a passion, which is coaching. Can you walk New Yorkers through that experience and that life-changing epiphany that you had?
Yeah, it's a tough one to talk about, but
sure.
I'll give you my best. I walked through the house that morning. I walked into the house to see my mom and pop, and I turned the corner into the TV room. It's very vivid, the picture. It's still very strong in my mind. And my mom is crying. My dad's face is white, and I'm asked what's going on. I know my brother's in New York. I don't know where, but I just know he's there. And my mom is explaining to me, and as she's talking, the second plane hits the tower. And if I ever wanted to see what my mother looked like if she had lost one of us, that was that moment. For all intents and purposes, he was gone. Now, thankfully, after many hours, he ended up calling in and letting us know he was all right. But through tragedy and his experience, it gave me the opportunity to self-reflect, to realize that I was not doing what I wanted to do, and that life was way too short to sit in a cubicle and not pursue my passion. And that's what led me to coaching.
Wow. I mean, I got goosebumps just hearing that. Obviously, as New Yorkers, we live that and we get it. It means a lot to us. We have similar experiences. And that was the day. So that day you just said, listen, I want to be a coach. That's what makes me happy, and dropped what you were doing and decided I don't care about.
It was a build-up.
Go ahead.
Build-up. It led all the way up to the Super Bowl, Rams Patriots. It was the Monday after. I'm sitting down in my cubicle, and I broke down. I lost it, and I left work. Just tears coming down my eyes because I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and I knew it. And,
wow.
And so and that's where it all started.
Well, let this sink in. You're going to make your NFL coaching debut the day after 20-year anniversary of, for a lot of us, the most horrific day in American history, and you're going to be in this town. So it's amazing how life works, that 20 years later, the following day, you're going to coach in the National Football League.
As the 20th head coach of the New York Jets.
Wow. As the 20th head coach of the New York Jets.
We're supposed to be here.
It'd be great if, COVID aside, if your brother can be there for that moment, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully COVID resides, and excited about all the vaccinations and people getting their shots, and hopefully we can get back to normalcy.
Has he already asked you for a ticket?
Oh, he's got carte blanche, man.
There you go.
On a lighter note, we have a wonderful caller. His name is Matthias on Long Island. Matthias on Long Island. He wants to know, are you used to the fact by now that everyone likes to comment on how attractive you are and your beautiful bald head? Like, is that something you're now used to, Coach?
I don't know about all that one. I don't have social media or internet, so the only one who tells me that I'm good looking is my wife, but sometimes I think she's lying.
She's the only one that matters, though.
Exactly.
Listen, have you ever met Vin Diesel?
Nope, never met him.
And final thing before we let you go, it used to be a regular question on our show. We need to know how much you're bench pressing these days. Max 1 rep.
I got to get back in the weight room. So Michael LaFleur gave me some crap about the way I'm looking. So I'm going to hit it back on Monday. It's been a long couple of months, but ask me right before the season. I should be.
Well, let's say historically, what was like when you were in your fittest and in your prime, prowling the sideline, let's say for the Niners, and you were challenging the other guys to bench press contest. What was your max 1 rep?
I never competed with anyone, but I got 27.
At 2 1/4, right?
Yep.
See, I told you.
That's damn impressive.
27 reps at 2 1/4 for our head coach, which is why when you got the job, the first thing I said was, my head coach can kick your head coach's butt. What's the plan, again, with respect to COVID? I know you have a family and you have kids, and your wife's home right now, and the kids are all excited. Is there a plan yet for when you'll be moving east and setting up shop over there in Florham Park and getting going, or is everything still going to be remote because of COVID?
So you're going to learn this about me very quickly, that I am very, very strong with my family, and so they're actually here now. My wife is picking a house, and my hope is that they're here by the end of February.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, listen, congratulations on the job. We obviously, we kind of view these things like whoever gets the job, we root for them. We want them to be successful. We happen to be fans. And I think if the first couple moments for you as the New York Jet head coach or any indication of how things are going to go, I do believe we're in good hands. And we wish you the best luck and hope that you're here for a long time.
No, thank you guys. I really appreciate this, and I can't wait to speak to you guys more and see you all in person.
Listen, that's going to happen.
Yes.
You may not feel that way in a couple months, but it's going to happen.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Listen, I only live 20 minutes from the facility, so I may just stop by, check in, see what's going on, make sure you're there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Come on by.
He'll be there by 5 in the morning. What are you talking about?
All right, Robert. Good luck.
I channel someone near and dear to my heart when I say this. It's been 52 years. Let you be the one to bring it home, because for this fan base, it will be the biggest thing in the world. It's been a long time, so get it done.
God willing.
Indeed.
There you go.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Robert. Be well. There you go, Robert Saleh, the new head coach of the New York Jets.
That story about 9/11, I mean, it's powerful as all hell. It's scary because I think all of us listening, if you remember it, we all remember that day. It brings you back to that day and how we all had that fear in a way. But it changed the man's life.
20th head coach, 20 years since it happened, and that's the moment that led him into coaching.
And
pretty good.
It led him to, I want to do what I love to do. And look, he's at the ultimate. He's a head coach of the National Football League. It really is a remarkable story, and that he gets to be that in this town